Configuring an Ethernet connection by using nmcli. If you connect a host to the network over Ethernet, you can manage the connection settings on the command line by using the nmcli utility. Prerequisites: a physical or virtual Ethernet network interface card. NIC exists in the server's configuration. Procedure: list the network manager connection profiles. nmcli connection show. Here, before doing this practical, I will add another NIC to the virtual machine. In the virtual machine, so manage virtual machine settings, network adapter, add another network adapter. So this network adapter also have added. Check advanced, you can see the MAC address is not yet generated. Click OK. IP KDDR show. You can see new Ethernet device with the MAC address. This is the MAC address has been added. You can check the MAC address here also. Manage virtual machine settings. Network adapter to advanced. You can see this is the MAC address. Advanced 00:0C:29:A0:AD:01. So this is the MAC address. nmcli connection show. nmcli connection show. It is showing only ENS160 as of now. Type is Ethernet device is ENS160. By default, Network Manager creates a profile for each NIC in the host. If you plan to connect this NIC only to a specific network, adopt the automatically created profile. If you plan to connect this NIC only to a specific network, adopt the automatically created profile. If you plan to connect this NIC to networks with different settings, create individual profiles for each network. If you plan to connect this NIC to networks with different settings, create individual profiles for each network. If you want to create an additional connection profile, enter nmcli connection, add connection name is connection name, IF name is device name, type is Ethernet. If you want to create an additional connection profile, skip this step to modify an existing profile. Rename the connection profile nmcli connection modify wired connection 1 connection ID internal -LAN. So nmcli connection add connection name nmcli connection add connection name connection name in double quote. wired connection 1, IF namespace device name, ENS type is Ethernet. So connection wired connection 1 successfully added. nmcli connection show. You can see I've added wired connection 1. Similarly, I will add wired connection 2. I will add wired connection 2. The other device is ENS 224. nmcli connection add ENS 224 device name is first wired connection 2. ENS 224. So wired connection 2. IP ADDR show. nmcli connection show. I've added wired connection 2 also here. Rename the connection profile. I will also rename it nmcli connection modify. nmcli connection modify. Modify wired connection 1. Modify wired connection 1 to connection.id internal LAN. On host with multiple profiles, a meaningful name makes it easier to identify the purpose of a profile. So I'll make it internal LAN 1. Similarly, nmcli connection modify wired connection 2 to internal LAN 2. You can see a modified wired connection 1 and wired connection 2 to internal LAN 1, internal LAN 2. Display the current settings of the connection profile. nmcli connection show internal LAN 1. Display the current settings of the connection profile. nmcli connection show internal hyphen LAN 1. So connection ID internal hyphen LAN 1. Similarly, internal hyphen LAN 2. See, you can see connection dot interface name ENS 224. General name connection hyphen internal hyphen LAN 2. It has this IP address 120.129. IP gateway is this one 220.2. IP route 1 IP4.route1. This is the destination network host, and I think this is the metric. IPv4.route to destination 0000 network host and metric. IPv4.DNS, IPv4.domain, broadcast address, DHCP client identifier, DHCP lease time, DHCP server identifier, domain name servers, expiry, IP address, next server, NIS domain, NIS servers, NTP servers, routers, subnet mask, IPv6, route. Configure the IPv4 settings. nmcli connection modify internal hyphen LAN 1 IPv4.method is auto. IPv4 connection modify internal hyphen LAN IPv4.method. IPv4.method is auto. Similarly, for internal hyphen LAN 2, nmcli connection modify internal hyphen LAN 1 IPv4.method is manual, and this IPv4.address, IPv4.gateway, IPv4.DNS, IPv4.DNS-search example.com. I'll copy it and make the modifications. This is the gateway. Modify internal -lan 1. IPv4.method is manual. IPv4.addresses 192.168. 220.1. IPv4.gateway 192.168.220.2. IPv4.dns 192.168. 220.2. IPv4.dns-search example.com. nmcli connection modify internal -lan 1. IPv4.method is manual. IPv4.addresses 192.168.220.1/24. IPv4.gateway 192.168.220.2. IPv4.dns 192.168.220.5. IPv4.dns-example.com. Given is research. So it is done. Similarly, I'm setting it for internal -lan 2. IPv4.addresses to 192.168.220. We'll make it 20. And the first one, I'll change it to 10. Okay, it is done. To use the stateless auto configuration, use slash enter nmcli connection modify internal -lan IPv6.method is auto. We use stateless address auto configuration slash. I will use stateless address auto configuration slash for internal LAN 1 and internal LAN 2. Activate the profile nmcli connection of internal LAN 1 and LAN 2. The connection successfully activated internal LAN 1 and internal LAN 2. Display the IP settings of the NIC. IP address show ENP1 is 0 here. ENS 160. So now it is 192.168.220.10. The IP address. INET 6 address is the Slack address. ENS 224. IPADDR show ENS. It is 192.168.220.20/24. This is the Slack address assigned by Slack. Display the IPv4 default gateway IP root show default. So for both ENS 160 and 224, default route is 192.168.220.2. Protocol is static metric is 102.103. Display the IPv6 default gateway. IP-6 root show default. IP-6 root show default. It has not been added. Cat etc/result.com, which will show the search domain. Search domain cat/etc. So search domain is 192. Example.com name server is 192.168.220.2. Ping the host name or IP address. Ping 192.168.220.10. Similarly, ping 20. If multiple connection profiles are active at the same time, the order of name server entries depend on the DNS priority values in these profiles and the connection types. Use the ping utility to verify that this host can send packets to other hosts. Troubleshooting: verify that the network cable is plugged into the host and is switched. Check whether the link failure exists only on this host or also on other hosts connected to the same switch. Verify that the network cable and the network interface are working as expected. Perform hardware diagnosis steps and replace defective cables in network interface cards. If the configuration of the disk does not match the configuration of the device, starting or restarting Network Manager creates an in-memory connection that reflects the configuration of the device. For further details and how to avoid this problem, see the Red Hat knowledge base. Solution: Network Manager duplicates a connection after restart of Network Manager service.